Sounds good.
All right, so our next guest joining us is Blake Emery. Blake, welcome.
Thank you
Can
very
you share a little bit about what you do for Boeing?
Yeah, my title is I'm the Director of Differentiation Strategy. And what that means is I do everything we can to make sure that our airplanes are the airplanes that are preferred by the flying public, the pilots, the flight attendants, whatever we can do to have our airplanes be different in a way that creates preference.
So along those same lines, can you tell us a little bit about Boeing's interior philosophy, how that relates to the passenger experience at a holistic level?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you used that word holistic, because that's really the approach that we take, is we recognize that everything within the passenger cabin is part of a system. So how those things interact from an aesthetic standpoint, for example, how the lighting interacts with the lines of the architecture, that's really important. And on this airplane, the 777X, it's especially amazing. I really believe that passengers, the flying public, is going to experience probably the best flying experience in commercial aviation. And there's a very specific reason for that. When we sat down to put together the cabin on this airplane, we really took what was best of the 777 as well as what was best on the 787. And a very interesting thing happened. So we had regular ongoing meetings with our airline customers, and we put together an airplane that was based on our philosophy, and we put together the cabin, and we brought them in for feedback after we put together what we thought was really, really great. And they said, it's really nice, except when you guys did the 787, you really raised the bar. You really changed the flying experience for the passengers. So, the 787 has been in revenue service for a while now. This is your next airplane. Do it again. You really broke the mold. Do it again. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and even created a lot of other amazing things. So, like, if you look at the images that are on the screen right now, one of the things you might notice is the bins. Unlike other airplanes, the bins are concave instead of convex. This has a very, very interesting. It's a very interesting phenomenon for the passenger experience, because this creates both additional space as well as increased sense of spaciousness for the passenger. There is no airplane that is going to have this sense of spaciousness to the degree that the 777X has. It's just amazing. And additionally, another thing that we did is that we what we called sculpted the frames. In other words, even though the exterior of this airplane is the same as a regular 777, in the 777X, we sculpted the frames of the interior, creating additional space and additional inches, because so many of our customers are flying in economy class with 10 abreast. And so we really wanted to make sure the airlines could have a really nice 10 abreast experience.
So an even more comfortable 10 abreast for passengers flying in the 777X.
Absolutely. Yep.
Very cool. Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned that we pulled a lot of design aspects from the 787. Some of that includes inside the cabin, pressure, altitude, humidity, things like that. How do those impact passengers?
Exactly. There's a lot of things that are different about our passenger cabins, beginning with the 787. And there's things that you can't see. The way we filter the air, the way we pressurize the cabin to literally allow more oxygen to get into your system. And one of the things that we discovered about this is that people absolutely feel better after flying the 787, and with the 777X, it's going to have the same. So anything associated with your mucous membranes, like dry eyes or runny nose, or some of the symptoms that sometimes you can get in a long flight, you really don't get that on the 787, and you won't get it on this airplane here, because we've duplicated that. And we build our cabins based on a very specific philosophy. We call it the ABCs. A means airplanes for people. B means by design, and C means connected to the sky, always connected to the sky. So we design it around the needs and wants of people, which we very extensively research. The B stands for by design. Now what that means is there is no cool idea in this airplane or any of our airplanes really that just makes it on board because somebody thought it was a cool idea. It gets thoroughly tested, empirically tested by experiments. We literally do controlled experiments where we'll change the way a light works or change the position of a window or something and make sure that in fact that change is creating a statistically significant difference for the passenger experience. So